Going to use this for.
No, we got one. The water.
Go live on YouTube. Go live on Facebook. Live on both.
Up here, Amaja, which means to stand. Our water to present itself.
Our water, Bun Gad, Bun Yasha'Allah.
Our water, Bun Gad, Bun Yasha'Allah.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Lord Yasha'Allah. Amaja, which means to stand. Wapun Yahakudam, which means turn and face to the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodak, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuzka, Taba'ah, Ratazai, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawak, Hayah, Bashamayim, the thunder now, the cup, Ka, Yawam, Asalak now, Kawak now, Kasalak now, Kawak now, Wala'ah, cover your eye now, Walasai one, ball. I was shy now. Bayan. Right. Kaya. The cup. I'm a lock. Wahat the power. I will love you. Amen.
In English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
We're going to do the Hakak, the power. Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, Barakashah, the thunder now, Hakak, La Pa'ah, Hakal Malawak, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarai, Hakak, Lahak, Hakak, Arkawa, Tama'ala, the Garashan, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, the water Aman.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please. Give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. All manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Bless Israel, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, Barakla now, YAHANNA, Wahabaya, Sapari, Barak, Magun, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, the water Aman.
What we just said was, Lord, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, bless us and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it.
We're going to do Psalms 121. Asha'a, Ayanya, Ahahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Aizari, Ma'ai, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemaya, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regal, Al-Yanawam, Shamar, Anab, La'ab, Yeshua, Shalom, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Shemar, Yahweh, Tazal, Al-Yah, Yamyika, Yawamam, Hashemat, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarah, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashemar, Kawra, Yashemar, After Yahweh, Yashemar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'afa, Wa'ayawallam, Aman.
In English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel.
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
From all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth.
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore.
Be it.
So be it. We're going to do Psalms 83. Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Thakarash,
Al-Thakarash,
Al-Tashakwat,
Al-Tashakwat,
Al-Kayahana,
Al-Yabika,
Al-Yabika, Yahama Yawan, Wamashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Imaka, Arayamwa, Sawar, Wayataya Aitasawa, Al-Tazapa Wandika, Amara, the Kawa, Wanakapyada, Magalia, Wala'ah, Yasakal, Shem Yasha'al, Iwa, Kaya, Nawa Aitasawa, La, Yakatwa, Al-Yaka, Waya, Yakaraf, Ahaliya, Adawam, Wayashima Aliyah, Mawa'awa, Wahagari, Gabal, Wa'aimawa, Halashah, Anyashabi, Tasawo, Ashawo, Nalawa, Amam, Hayawa, Sarawai, Abanyalawa, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadya, Kasaya Sara'ah, Kayabya, Balakar, Koyashwa, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayanda Aura, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatumwa, Nadayamawa, Ka'ara, Wakasa Abu, Wakasa Ba, Wakata Zawana, Kal Messiah Kamwa, Ashar, Amar, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Na'awaf, Alahayim, Shayatumwa, Kagabala, Takwash, Kapanyaraka, Ka'ash, Ira, Wakahalahabah, Dalahat, Haryam, Khan, Daradatma, Basa Iraka, Wabasa Wapaka, Bahalam, Mala'ah, Panyaham, Kualawan, Wayabakwasha, Shemka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Ayai, Wayakapawa, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahweh, Labaka, Al-Yawan, Al-Kaha-Rataza, Amman.
In English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumble.
Thy enemies make a tumble.
And they that hated thee.
That they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Israelites.
And the Israelites.
Of Moab. And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gabal. And Ammon.
And
Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
With
the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also is joined with them.
Asher also joined with
They
them.
have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera.
As to
Jabez.
As to Jabez.
And the Burger Kishon.
And the Burger Kishon.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished
They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a rat. And like Zeb. Yea. All their princes. As Sabbath. And as Zamunah. Who said, let us take to ourselves. The house of Yahweh possession. Oh my power. Make them like a will. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth it wood. And as the flame set the mountains on fire. Persecute them. With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. Oh Yahweh. Let them be confounded. And trouble forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Art the Most High. Over all the earth. So be it.
Little Israel song, which means to turn. YAHANNA, which means be seated. So we left off last week at 2 Samuel chapter 20, verse 25. So now we at verse 26. We'll read in the Hebrew first. Second Samuel chapter 20, verse 26. And it's always been customary for us to read it in the Hebrew first because that's our original tongue. So when you hear us with a sound like we babbling or whatever, that's our original language. English is not our original language. So that's why in the UPK, we do the traditions of our forefathers mentioned in these scriptures. And that's reading in the Hebrew. You understand? If you got it, go ahead and read that. Sure. 20 and 26. Okay. Second Samuel chapter 20, verse 26. YAHANNA. Salakia. YAHANNA. Ayara'ah. Haya'awa. Araya. Hayaha. Kayam. Ladawada. 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1. Wayahaya. Ra'ai. Wayamaya. Dawada. Shalasha. Salam. Shania. Akaraya. Shania. Wayabakwash. Dawada. Panya. Yahweh.
YAHANNA, Yahweh, Al, SHALAM, Allah, Yah, Hadamayim, Al, Ashar, Matthew, Hagaba'ayim, verse 2. Wayakwaro, Hamalak, Nagaba'ayim, YAHANNA, Ayahayim, Wahagabai,
Don't sweat. That's what it is. Wild job too. Wahagaba'aniya, La'a, Mabaniya, Yasha'ala, Hama, Kaya, Amma, Mayathar, Ha'amariya, Wabaniya, Yasha'ala, Nashabaiwa, Laham, Wayabakwash, Sha'awal, Lahakatham, Bakwana'ath, to what? Labanya, Yasha'ala, Wayahawada, verse 3. Wayamar, Dawada, Al, Hagaba'anyam, Maha, Asha, Lakam, Wabama, Akapar, Wabarakwa, Af, Nakalath, Yahweh, verse 4. Waya Amara, Lawa, Hagaba'anyam, Ayan, Laya, Kasap, Wazahab, Ain, Sha'awal, Wa'ain, Bayathwa, Wa'ayan, Lanawa, Ayash, Lahamayath, Bayash Sha'ala, Waya Amar, Maha, Atham, Amariam, Aisha, Lakam, verse 5. Waya Amar. We're going to 6, the what? Verse 5. Waya Amar, Hamalak, Ha'alash, Ashar, Kalanawa, Wa Ashar, Dema, Lanawa, Nashimanawa, Mahathaya, Tazar, Bakar, Gabal, Yasha'ala, verse 6. Yanathan, Lanawa, Shabai, Anashiam, Mabanyawa, Wahawakwa, Ainyam, La Yahweh, Gaba'ath, Sha'awal, Bakayara, Yahweh, Waya Amal, Hamalak, Anaya, Athan.
Shabbat. You know, who knows what Shabbat is? Shabbat. What's that translate to in English? The number.
You said Shabbat or Shabbat?
Yeah. What number is that? It's a number.
I think it's a 5th or 5.
Number 7.
7. I'm sorry, Christ.
2 Samuel in the English. 2 Samuel, chapter 20, verse 26. And Ira also, the Israelite, was a chief ruler about David.
And so I can catch the brothers up. What we doing from last week. So now this is David. I can give you the rundown. Absalom, which was David's son, had took the kingdom or took the kingdom from David. So David left the kingdom, or left his seat, and the people. It was some people who did not want to turn their back on King David. So they left with David instead of serving his son. His son was a traitor. So later on down the line, David set up a plan to get some spies to come to go back to the kingdom to work with David's son. David's son was surprised that his father's servants would now come and work for him and be his servants. But it was all in David's plan. David set up a plan to send some spies there to pretend like they were working for David, but really what they wanted to do was get in between Absalom and a traitor that was in Absalom's ear to make him turn against his father. So eventually, that's what happened. Then Absalom gave the traitor that was in Ishbosheth. He was the one that was in Absalom's ear.
Yeah, I feel something like that, sir.
Yeah, he was the one. Ishbosheth. He was the one that was in David in Absalom's ear.
Okay, sir.
And so now Ishbosheth told Absalom to go kill his father, like to go find his father in the wilderness to go to kill him. But then David already set up spies, so those brothers had gave Absalom a different counsel. They made him scared. They said, "Your father's a mighty man of war. You only sending a couple number of men. You're gonna have to send the whole Israel, after your father, because he, all the wars he's been through. He's a mighty man."
Right.
So Absalom took David's spies' counsel instead of Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth seen that Absalom didn't take his counsels. Once he seen that, he went home, make sure his house was in order. He killed himself. It don't say why he killed himself, but it just you can say that he seen that Absalom did not listen to him anymore.
Right.
So maybe he was in fear that that Absalom was gonna look at him like he was nothing, or look at him like a traitor. So he just killed himself. So now David and also the war. There was another war still going on with Absalom. David did not want his son to get killed in that war, even though he betrayed his son. But while Absalom was walking through the woods or running away, his head got caught in between the trees, and David's general, killed Absalom anyway. So now David was sad about that, and Joab went and told him, I know you're sad about your son, but the people are going to be confused. Like the people that stood for you, they're going to say, you love your enemies. Like Absalom was your son, but he was also your enemy. That's why we want to, win against him or win the war against him. So, straighten yourself up and go address the people and be happy, because we're about to unite the kingdom. So after that, David is now coming to unite the kingdom. There was, I believe, a Benjamite who did not, so he met some people in Judah. And he said, I'm coming to unite the kingdom. The people of Judah were scared because they knew they betrayed David, and they knew David was coming to kill him. But they did not kill David. But David did not come to kill them, even though they traded him. David came to unite the kingdom. So he united with the Judites. Yeah. Now the Judites and David are going to the other part of Israel to unite the whole Israel. But there's a Benjamite who did not want to. So that Benjamite, David said, we have to kill that Benjamite because, we just dealt with a split. So now, there's going to be another split, and it's going to be worse than the first split if we let this brother get away. So they went and chased him. He went into this land he went to this village or this town that had high walls, and they were going to knock down that wall to get through to get to into that town. There's a woman that came down and said, you know, I'm a sister of Israel. You know, are you going to kill the? Are you going to? Did you come to kill? You know, we are Israelites too. You come to kill the Lord's children. You know, so you're going to come and kill the mother of of Israel. And he was saying, no, we're just looking for one man, this Benjamite. So she said, don't you worry about it. Don't knock down this wall. We're going to deal with it. And the sister went and told the men. The men found that brother. They cut his head off and threw his head over the wall and gave it to Joab. Joab seen the head. He took the horn. He blew the horn. And he said, you know, our mission is done. So now the mission is done. David came back to his household and is united the kingdom now. And now what we're reading about now is him giving everybody a new position now in the kingdom, like telling who's a general, who's a captain. He's setting up ranks right now. Go ahead.
Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1. Then there was a famine in the days of David 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of the Lord. And the Lord answered, it is for Saul and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites. He slew the Gibeonites. And the king called Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn unto them. And Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? And wherewith shall it make the atonement, that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord?
Right. So, you know, the Gibeonites, they were not Israelites, but Saul, when he was ruling, he obviously made some deal with them that he wasn't going to kill them or something of that nature, but he broke that deal, and the Lord cursed him for breaking the promise that he was going to make, for breaking that promise, which probably was a promise that he was going to kill them or something that had to do with peace. Go ahead.
Fuck it. Is this a precept for the sins of the father will be repaid for the children?
Could be, or
because David didn't make this promise.
David didn't. It was from Saul. Mm-hmm.
And Saul broke it, and so years later, Israel's paying for what Saul did.
Right. So I'm asking the captain and one of the generals about it to be sure, but for sure, what we know right now is that Saul made a promise with these heathens about something. I'm going to go back and find it within this service. But it seems like he broke some kind of deal with the heathens that he was supposed to keep. And because he did not, you know, let your yeas be nays, you know, let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nays. Like, you know, even though they're heathens, you know, us as the children of the Lord of Israel, the Lord holds us to a standard. Like if you make a promise or say you're going to do something and then turn around and don't do it, that's you know, unhonorable. You know, that's not an honorable thing to not keep that promise that you made. So, you know, the Lord had given them famine for 3 years for something that Saul did. But I'll find out exactly what it is.
Come.
You go ahead. Go ahead. You go down to 6. I mean, you can read on all those 6.
Okay. And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house. Neither for us shalt thou kill any man in Israel. And he said, what ye shall say, that will I do for you? And they answered the king, the man that consumed us and that devised against us that we should be destroyed from remaining in any of the coast of Israel. Verse 6.
Right. So they don't, you know, so David's trying to make, so the Lord, you know, gave David's kingdom 3 years of famine, and he found out it's because Saul didn't keep his deal. So he goes to the Gibeonites and asking them, you know, what can I do for you? And they like, look, I don't want nothing from you. We don't want any gold or silver from Saul, because he's the one, you know, that killed us, and he's the one that killed us and destroyed us, and said that, you know, he tried to destroy our whole nation of people from Israel. Go ahead.
Okay.
Out of the coast of Israel. Salah. Go ahead.
Okay. Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them.
Oh, so, you know, these are heathens, but even though once again, even though these are heathens, we had to keep that promise, but we did not keep that. Saul did not keep that promise, and we killed those heathens. And they didn't want money; they wanted blood. Sometimes money is not good enough. Sometimes an eye for an eye is an eye for an eye. Like you killed my family, you trying to pay me off. That's not good enough. Give me 7 of his sons, and we're gonna hang him, and that's good enough for us. That's crazy. Even today, like I know we all know people that was killed by the police, and the police try to quiet that family down and give them $10 million. Right. But the pain is still there. Right. Like the 10 million is okay, but sometimes when people don't want that, because they're so poor, a lot of people take that money. They don't know what $1 million is or what it looks like, so they take it. Other people don't want it. They want, that same cop to die too. And they still in pain, but they may or may not feel a little better. But it's at least, my son died, so he got to die too. Go ahead.
So they gave Freddie Brady's mother $6 million, and she wanted to kill herself. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like that. Like she got 60 million. Anybody on this earth, any black or Latino on this earth gets 60 million. You're happy, but what I'm saying, that money could not replace her son.
Right.
So she's still, still depressed, still going through trauma and PTSD and all those things, and depression and all those things. That was a good thing you brought out. Go ahead.
That was it, sir.
Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is continue up here. Actually, I'm going to flash on. You can hold some mic. Watch me step on this. Is the computer good, Barack?
Come on, work up.
All right, we'll call you up till once. Let's go, Barack. Barack, present yourself.
Oh, God.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yashala.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yashala.
Yahweh Shemi Yashab Barakatham.
Yahweh Shemi Yashab Barakatham.
Here, you shopping?
Needs to sit.
27, 12. All right, so
13.
13 and 20
7 through 13. 21, 7 through 13.
to 12.
7 to 12.
So
2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 7. Waya Kamala Hamalak Mapaya Shaf Bun Yahawan Nathan Bun Sha'awala Shaba'ith Yahweh Ashar Bayatham Bayan Dabada Wabayan Yahawan Yahawathan Bun Sha'awal. Verse 8. Waya Kaka Hamalak Af Shanya Banya Rataza Pa Bath Aya Ashar Yalad Lasha Walla 12 and 8. Af Avram Naya Wa'af Mapa Ashaf Wa'af Kamsha
Slakia. Kamshath. Banya. Maya Ko. Bath. Slakia. Sha'awal. Ashar. Yalad. La'id. Raya Al. Bun. Barbara Salakia. Bazaar. Salakia. Barbazar. Ya. Hamkalath. Ya. Verse 9. Wayath. Natham. Bayad. Hagab. Anya Yam. Wayak. Ya'an. Bahar. Lapanya. Yahawah. Waya Shab'ai. Thayam. Yakar. Waham. Hamathwa. Bayamya. Kataza Yar. Bara'am. Nayam. Thakal Salakia. Thakal Latha. Kataza Yar. Sha'ar Yam. Verse 10. Wathkaka. Rataza Pa. Ba'ath. Salakia. Ba'ath. Ayah. Ath. Hashak. Waqta Yawa. Laha. Ar. Hataza War. Matha Kalatha. Kataza Yar. I. Nathaka. Mayam. Al Yaham. Mana. Hashayam. Wala'ah. Nathana. Agapa. Hasham Yam. Lanawaka. Al Yam. Al Yaham. Yawamam. Wa'ath. Kayath. Hashab. Laya. Verse 11. Waya God. La Davida. Ath. Ashar. Aishaf. Rataza Pa. Bath. Ayah. Palagam. Palagash. Sha'awal. Verse 12. Waya Laka. Davida. Waya Kaka. Ath. Atazam. Wath. Sha'awal. Wa'ath. Atazam. Wath. Yahawan Thun. Banawa. Ma'ath. Ba'alaya. Yabya Shah. Galad. Ashar. What was that one? Galad. The water. Ashar. Gun Bawa. Atham. Maraka. Bayath. Shun. Ashar. Thalawam. Mashak. Sham. Hapalashathium, Hapalashathium, Bayawam, Hakawath, Palashathium, Sha'awal, Bagal, Labai, verse 13. That's it. Verse 13. Waya'al, Masham, Atazam, Wath, Sha'awal, Wa'ath, Atazam, Wath, Yahawan, Yahamanathan, Banawa, Wayar Sapawa, Atazamwath, Hama Waka'ai Yam. We have verse 7.
So we just read that Gibeon. So I read what verse we read?
Starting at 7, so 21 and 7.
Read 2 real quick, verse 2.
God. The book of 2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 2. And the king called Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn unto them, and sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. Verse 3. Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? And wherewith shall I make the atonement that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord? Verse 4. And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house. Neither of us shalt thou kill any man in Israel. And he said.
So this is what we're reading about is once Saul started ruling, once Saul got the kingdom of Israel back together, the kingdom of Israel went through 3 years of famine. And King David was saying, what the hell is going on? Like, so he said, surely the Lord must be doing this to us. So David acquired the Lord. David, prayed to the Most High and asked, why are we going through famine? And the Most High revealed to him that it's because of something Saul did. Saul killed the Gibeonites, but we made a promise and we broke a promise, which we weren't. That promise, you can find that promise in Joshua 9. What happened in it? But even though it was the Gibeonites tricked us, we still made that oath to them. So what happened was in Joshua 9, you'll read that we were going to go to war with the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites. We were going to go to war in the time of Joshua, go to war against Hamites. So there was the heathens in Gibeon, the Gibeonites. They heard of Joshua. They heard of the war in Jericho and his fights in other lands. And they didn't want any part of the children of Israel that was coming through the land to fight those heathens. To fight those other Hamites. So what they did was they tricked Joshua. They traveled to Joshua with wine and moldy bread and old shoes and old clothes.
Right.
And they came to Joshua's camp and said, here, we come to offer you these things. We heard y'all going to war. Please make league with us, join us. You know what I'm saying? These was heathens, but they didn't want no smoke.
Yeah.
So they like, we're going to try, they gathered amongst each other and said, we're going to try to give them what we can. The Modi, so they lied to us and said, because Joshua said, where do y'all come from? They said, we come from a land far away.
Right.
And you see, look, we made this bread and it was hot and fresh, but now it's moldy now.
Right.
We come from a long way. They were lying the whole time. Nevertheless, Joshua took the wine and because Joshua had compassion, he's like, man, like these people travel from afar to what a point their bread started to mold. So yeah, y'all heathens, but we can we'll take a lead with y'all within war and things of that nature. And Joshua made a promise to never kill the Gibeonites because they even though they lied to us, they lied to us, but after that lie they were scared. After that lie, they didn't like betray Israel. Like they didn't lie and then try to conquer us or something like that. They just lied so we wouldn't kill them. That's it. You know, that was it. They was trying to survive.
Right.
So that was a promise we made back in Joshua. That's hundreds of years before David. So now, hundreds of years later, Saul killed them because they was heathens. You know what I'm saying? And it said that he was bloodthirsty, like he killed them heathens. But we broke that oath. We made that oath with the Lord that we would not kill them. So that's why now, when we're reading now in 2 Samuel, that's why David is going through those 3 years of famine. That's why they said, look, and David tried to make peace with them and said, well, you know, we'll give you out some riches, some money. They said, we don't want none of Saul's gold or silver. Give us 7 of his sons and we'll hang them. And, we'll hang them in front of the Lord and that'd be that. And David agreed. David had to give his own brothers the heathens, but it was because Saul broke that promise.
Slakia, if I could, this is a heavy point because what Joshua promised to when Saul broke that promise to when David had to make good in that promise was hundreds of years in between.
Right.
So even though we promised this heathen nation something, they remembered it hundreds of years later.
Right.
And then even after that, a couple decades later, they still remembered what was promised hundreds of years prior.
Right.
And they wanted to make good on what was promised generations ago.
Right. So you see the heathens never forget. That's why we should never forget ours. Right. Esau owes us. That's right. You know what I'm saying? These Gibeonites, they heathens, but they like, even though we heathens, y'all still in the time of Joshua still made a promise with us not to kill us because we joined hands with y'all. We gave y'all wine, oat, shoes, and bread and moldy bread. But y'all took the deal. Right. And y'all can't kill us, not supposed to kill us.
Right.
But Saul broke that. So now David had to, make good. Money wasn't good enough. Blood was good enough. Right. That's what I was bringing out earlier. Like, when our people are killed by the cops, like the brother brought out, Freddie Gray, you said Freddie Gray people?
Yeah,
Freddie Gray mother was given $60 million, but she still wanted
$6 million.
$6 million?
$6
million, but still wanted to kill herself. So that $6 million did not heal her pain, trauma, PTSD, and depression.
Right.
It did not heal that. So she still wanted to kill herself. So sometimes, it gotta be that blood. It gotta be blood for blood. Most times, that is called blood for blood is justice. Oh, okay. Go ahead. No, I turned it down. No, it's not on. Where you at?
No, it was a voice for.
Go ahead. You continue. Where you pick up at? We 7. Go back. Let's go to 7 now.
2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 7. But the king spared the Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the Lord's oath that was between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul.
Right. So David, Joshua made an oath 100 years ago. So David gave, them Saul's sons, but because he made another oath with Jonathan, he did not give him over. He did not give the son of Jonathan over. Right.
Verse 8. But the king took the 2 sons of Respah, the daughter of Ai, whom she bare unto Saul, Armanah, and Mephibosheth, and the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Mahalathite. Verse 9. And they delivered them unto the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before the Lord. And they fell all 7 together, and were put to death in the days of harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of the barley harvest.
That's a hard thing. Imagine you got to give your brothers over to heathens. That is tough. You damn feel like a traitor, but it's honorable because you like, man, we broke this promise, so now we got to pay. This is called basically you have to just pay for your crimes. Right. That's what you have to do, and not run from them because David could have went to war with them and said, we ain't give y'all nobody. These are our brothers, but he kept that. He took the consequences of our actions. And that's what men do.
Right.
Even though it don't matter how tough it is, how rough it is, how much pain it's going to cause. You know what I'm saying? If you do something, you have to pay for your actions, man.
That's right.
All right? Go ahead.
God. Verse 10. And Respal, the daughter of Ai, took the sackcloth and spread it for her upon the rock, from the beginning of harvest until water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor the beasts of the field by night. And it was told, verse 11, it was told David what Respal, the daughter of Ai, the concubine of Saul, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan, his son, from the men of Jabesh Gilead, which he had stolen them from the street of the Shun, where the Philistines had hanged them, when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa. Verse 13. And he brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged.
Right. All right. We can continue on.
2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 14. Wayak Barawa Atazahum with Shawa'al Wayar Hawan Thun Banawa Ba'a Rataza Banyam Yan Bataza La'ai Bakabar Kayam Abayawa Waya Ashawa Kar Ashar Tazawa Hamalak Waya Athar Al Hayam Wa'art Tazar Akar Ya Kun, verse 15. With a Ya Iwada Iwad Malakam Lapa Lashathian Ath Yasha Allah Wayarad Dabada Wa'ai Dayawat Anwa Waya Lakamwa Palashathium Wayapa Dabada, verse 16. Wayash Bawa Bana Ashar Baya Layad Harapa Bamashka Kayanwa Sha'al Mawatha Mashakal Nakashta Wahawa Kabwa Kadash Waya Amar Lahakwath Dabada, verse 17. Waya Atazar Lawa Abba Yasha Bun Tazaraya Waya Hapa Lashathia Wayam Wayam Yath Wa Azza Nashab Agwa Anashaya Dabada Lawa La La'a Thataza Dataza Agwa Athanwa Lamalakam Wala'a Thakar Af Nar Yashua Allah. Verse 18. Why Yahweh Akar Kun Wathaya Iwa Hamalakman Halakam Bagawa I'm Palashathian Izah Hakam Sabkaya Sabakaya Hakashathia Sak Ashar Bayalad Ya Hapa Harapa, verse 19. Wathaya Iwa Hamalakam Bagawa An Palashathium Wayak Alakana Bun Ya'ai Raya Ira Young Baya Halakamya Galayath Hagathia Wa'itaza Kanyathwa Kamar Nawar Aragayam. Verse 20. Waya Aya Iwa Malakam Bagath Waya Hayat Wahaya Ayam Ma'adyan Wa'ataza Ba Itha Yadyawa Wa'a Tazab Agatha Wagal Yawa Sha'a Washa Washa Ashayam Wa'a Rabah Masapar Wagam Hawar Yalad Lahapar. That's the end of that.
Also, too, the Gibeonites, when they gave us a moldy bread, when they lied about saying they made the bread fresh and then molded from a long travel, they did not travel far. They just gave dry bread, but they did all that. They tried to give whatever they had to Joshua because they heard about how the Lord was with Israel, and the Lord would give Israel land, and they would destroy whoever inhabited the land and took that land. So they did it out of fear. Eventually, Joshua found out about it and asked him why. You said you came from, and asked him, why did you lie to me? And they explained because they feared for their lives. So Joshua said, no sweat. But now you are going to be, what you're going to do is now be our servants. You're going to now draw water for us from the wells, and you're now going to be dwellers of wood. I mean, hewers of wood. So they cut down the trees and give us all the wood that we needed to build things. And that's what they were for us for hundreds of years. And then Saul will kill them off, which is, dumb. Like, imagine, like why Esau kills us, but imagine Esau kills the black and Latinos that do construction. Esau will have nobody to build his buildings because you're killing your servants. You get what I'm saying? So that was, Saul was an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, but you can continue.
God.
Sorry.
What nationality was the
Gibeonites? They may have been Hamites, but I'm going to check for you right now.
So Slavi, it said Amorites
What?
earlier. When I chapter 20, verse 21 through 1 through 6.
What you mean? What? Amorites about? What are you talking about?
The Gibeonites.
That they were Amorites?
Come.
Okay, see if you can just find out again.
Okay.
Go ahead and read that.
God. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 21, verse 14. In the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zallah, in the spectre of Kish his father. And he performed all that the king commanded. And after that, God was entreated for the land. Verse 15. Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel. And David went down and his servants with him and fought against the Philistines. And David was waxed faint. Verse 16. And Ishbenob, which was the sons of the giant, the weight of whose spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight. He being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, scored him and smote the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swore unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us unto battle. Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, and thou quench not the light of Israel.
Right, because David is the leader, the king. Usually, like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we got to go to ground, you know what I'm saying? Commander YAHANNA will fight if he has to. But it's like, wow, you the commander general. There's no need for you to step out there, general. We got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let the younger men do it. You know what I'm saying? He's fully, he's a man that is older than us and will still fight. He has fight in him. But, you get a little older now. You know what I'm saying? The younger men, 20s and 30s and whatever, 40s and still got their strength. Let them go ahead and fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they say you are the light. What did it say about the light, Barak?
It says that thou shalt go no more out of with us to battle. Thou quench not the light of Israel.
Right. If you die, you are a guide. You are a leader. You are the light. If you die, then, you know what I'm saying, who's going to lead Israel? You get what I'm saying? So don't you now? This is your last war, Dave. Your reputation is high. You got many wars under your belt. It's time to chill out now. But it's time to sit down, old man. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And it came to pass after this that there was again a battle with the Philistines at Gob. Then Sabbath, the Hushathite, slew Suf, which was of the sons of the giant. Verse 19. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jeroboam, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam.
And these were some tall Hamites. That's why I keep saying, if you see, he keeps saying son of the giant. Because this is son of the giant is that giant Hamite Goliath. So they're killing these Hittites who are some big Hamites. Or these big Hamites that come up out of the loins of Saul. The loins of Goliath. Right.
And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number, and he also was born to the giants.
Right, it was some big. Go ahead.
Salakia. It's in 2 Samuel 21 and verse 2.
Mhm.
And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites.
Okay. So we'll find out that could be either they are actually Amorites, or they could be servants of the Amorites.
Right.
So we'll find out. I'm gonna find out for you which one it is. Go ahead. Because remnant could be either what's left of the tribe of Amor, the Amorite, Ammon, or servants. I'll find out. Go ahead.
That was it.
Is it that? Yeah, maybe you sit right here. You sit right here for right now. You got to do it. Yeah. We can call you up. It's like 1 second. It's like 1 second. I'm gonna call you up.
Okay,
You want to present yourself? It's like Kagar Mouth present yourself.
Kagal Mouth Banya Howard Banya Shala.
Gagama banya hawada banya sha'ala.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrak Thumb.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
You got scriptures.
Yeshabi, which means to sit.
Twenty-one, and 22.
In the Hebrew, 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 22. Araba'ith.
So like verse 21.
Verse 21, come on. Wayakara. Yasha'ala. Wayaka'awa. Yahweh Nathan. Ban. Shama'aya. Akaya. Dawida. Verse 22. Araba'ith. Alaha. Yadadawa. Lara Pa'a. 2 Samuel chapter 22. Bagath. Wayapalawa. Bayad. Dawida. Wabayad. Abada Yahweh. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 1 in Hebrew. Waya Dabar. Dawida. Waya Hawa'ah. Dabaria. Hashaya Raya. Asa'ah. Bayawam. Hatazaya Y'all. Sorry. Hatazaya La. Yahweh. Athawa. Makapa. Cow. Ayabayawa. Wamakapa. Sha'awal. Verse 2.
Yeah, the word Ayab is enemy. In Hebrew. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Waya Amar. Yahweh. Sala'aya. Wama Taza the Thouya. Wama Palakaya. Laya. Verse 3. Alahaya. Taza Raya. Al Kasa'a. Bawa. Maganaya. Wakarana. Yasha'aya. Mayaga Raya. Wamana Wasaya. Masha'aya. Ma Kamasa. Dasha Ayan Aniya. Verse 4.
Mahalala, Akara, Yahweh, Wama Yabawa, Awa, Shai, verse 5, Kaya, Al Papanaya, Masha Baraya, Mawa, Nakaya, Bala Yaal, Yaba Aitha Naya, verse 6, Kabbalah Ya. That's it?
That was it. 1 through 5, 22.
Yeah, that's
5.
In this 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 21. And when he defiled Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the brother of David, slew him. These four were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David, and by the hand of his servants. Chapter 22, verse 1. And David spake unto the Lord the words of this song, in the day that the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. Verse 2. And he said, the Lord is my rock, and my forest, and my deliverer. Verse 3. And God of my rock, in him will I trust. He is my shield, and the horn of my salvation, my high tower, and my refuge, my savior.
In times of war in the Hebrew is rock. That's what times of war means. Go ahead.
Thou savest me from violence. Verse 4. I will call on the Lord, who was worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. Verse 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
That's it. So that's it.
So you see how the Lord, how David, you know what I'm saying, even though David in old age was getting faint, they say he was getting faint, you know, so the men, you know, and his army was like, you know, David, you can sit back. You know what I'm saying? The Lord was still with his servants, still with his warriors and with his army, still just with him in general. So they still conquered those Hamites, the son of Goliath. And that's why he had to give, you know, praise to the Most High for being his rock. You know what I'm saying? Keeping them solid and being solid and keeping Israel firm. And that's what we got to remember. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of distractions. Or we think we sometimes try to replace the Most High with something else. Whether we be with money or, I don't know, anything that we're thinking about that will better our life, right, without actually, you know, coming to the Most High and realizing that, you know, it starts with the Most High first. I mean, whatever, you know, whatever His will is. I think that's about it. I want to say. We can continue.
All right. Verse 6. In the Hebrew, 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 6. Kabbalah Sha'awal, Sabanaya, Manaya, Akashaya, Mawah, verse 7. Batazarah, Laya, Al-Karaya, Yahweh, Wa'ala, Ala-Haya, Al-Kara'ah, Wayashamai, Mahaya Kalawa, Kawalaya, Wayasha Aithya, Ba'azana Yahweh, verse 8. Wata Ga'ash, Aish, Wata Ra'aish, Ha'avrataza, Mawasa Dawaf, Hashama Yum, Yara Gazawa, Wayata Ga'aishua, Kaya, Kara'ah, Luwa, verse 9. Ilaha, Ashan, Ba'agawa, Wa'aish, Magayawa, the Akal,
Gakala Yum. But I Roa. Mamanawa, verse 10. Wayaka. Oh, sorry. Wayata. Shamayam. Wayarad. Why Regal. The sorry. Dakatha. Regal Yoa, verse 11. Wayaraka. Al. Karawa. Waya up. Waya up. Waya ra'a. Al. Kana paya. Rawak. Verse 12. Waya shah. Kasha ka. Sabaya dal yawa. Sakawa. Kashara. Mayam. Ibaya. Shaka yam. Verse 13. In the English. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. Verse 7. My distress I called upon the Lord. I cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple. And my cry did enter into his ears. Verse 8.
Right, your distress, you know what I'm saying? At times of trouble or times not of trouble, we gotta remember the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Distress, you know what I'm saying, when you just and live in poverty, you know what I'm saying, you might want to rob a bank, rob somebody, or walk down the street. You might want to, somebody you know got some money in their house, you might want to run up on them. Or, you know, you just might be in a down time, which a lot of times just we are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And in those times, we almost will commit evil in those times. You just, in the time of distress, any kind of stress, you just gotta remember the Most High. That's all. And you know how to, you're gonna cry. That's your job, and that's what the Most High wants. If you don't cry to Him, you know what I'm saying, you're not, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna find a solution to your problems. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundation of heavens moved and shook because he was rocked. Verse 9. There went up a smoke out of the nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it.
Right, and the Lord was angry. The Lord was angry for whatever that was happening to his children. So he was wroth. He was angry.
Right.
Flames came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to remember what Esau did. Esau is going to, you know what I'm saying, America's going to fall by the hands of the Most High.
That's right.
For what he's doing to us, to his children.
Right.
Our job is to gather together and cry to him. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 10. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly. And he was seen upon the wings of the wind. Verse 12. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies.
That's it.
We at 22 and 13?
That's
Oh,
real.
God.
Huh?
Cuddle.
Go ahead and read.
In the Hebrew, 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 13. Managaha, Nagadawa, Ba'irawa, Gakalaya, Asha, verse 14. Waya Ra'ain, Mana, Shamana Yam, Yahweh, Wa'ila Yawan, Yathan, Kawa Lawa, verse 15. Waya Shalak, Katazayam, Waya Yatazayam, Banaka, Waya Hamam, verse 16. Waya Ra'awa, Agakaya, Yama, Ya Galawa, Masa de Waf, Dabala, Baga Ira Ra, Yahweh, Manasha Maf, Rawaka, Agawa, verse 17. Yashalak, Mama Ra'aw, 1. Yakanaya, Yamashanaya, Mama Yam, Rabbi Yam, verse 18. Wataza Yelanawa, Nayas, like it. Ma'a Yabawya, Azai, Mashana Aya, Kaya, Amatazawa, Mamanaya, verse 19. Yakadam Manaya, Bayawam, Ayadaya, Yahweh, Salaki, Wa Yahaya, Yahweh, Masha Ayin, Laya.
That's it.
Barack, you pick up the English.
That was in 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 13. Verse 13. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Verse 14. The Lord thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared, and the foundations of the world were discovered.
Right. So anytime, you know what I'm saying, this is victory. This is us winning a war. And this is just David just feeling relieved about everything that happened and all the wars that, he went through. And the Lord delivered, gave us victory of those wars. You know what I'm saying? And it's showing that, this is exact. You can match this precept with in Exodus when it says the Lord is the enemy of your, if you obey the Lord, he'll be an enemy to your enemies.
Right.
That's what this is showing. This is showing how the Most High rose up and destroyed the enemies of David when he cried to him.
Right.
Go ahead.
At the rebuking of the Lord, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils, he sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me.
Right.
For they were too strong for me. Verse 19.
David admitting that, his enemies were, certain heathens or enemies that was too strong for him. You know what I'm saying? We see how strong Esau is. Esau has an army. Us as a nation of Israel, we don't even got. Who has a tank?
Right.
You got a tank? Somebody got a tank?
Nah.
Maybe one of them brothers in Texas got at least one tank. All the guns they got, but Esau has many tanks, nukes, and everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are not gonna rise over them without the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 19. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. That's the end of that.
All right. Let's go ahead and read the Hebrew. Let's finish the last. You read Hebrew, Barack. Let's finish the last one.
Where was he at?
Start at 20.
26.
Starting at 20. Okay. So like chapter 20. So like the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 20. Wayat Tazah Lamar Ka Athaya Yakal Lataza Naya Kaya Kapataza Bun, verse 21. Yagam Lanaya Yahweh Katazada Kathaya Kabal Yadaya Yashaya Laya, verse 22. Kaya Shamar Thaya Dakaya Yahweh Wala'a Rasha'ai Thaya Ma'a Lahaya, verse 23. Kaya Kala Salaki Kara Masha Pata Salaki Masha Patwa Lana Gadaya Wakaka Tayawa La'a Asawo Mama Na, verse 24. Wa'a وأحيا ثميم لوا وأش ثمار ومأش ثمار وأي ونيا. Verse 25. Wayashar. So like Wayashar. Yahweh. Naya. Katazar. Kathaya. Kabarya. Lanagad. Ayan Yawah. Verse 26. An. Kasayad. Thatha Kasad. An. Gabawar. Thamyam. Thama. That's the end of that.
Oh, Salaki. Go ahead.
Second Samuel chapter 22, verse 20. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me.
Right. So the Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. That's what you align that up with be ye perfect. We're trying to be perfect. We're trying to let the Lord reward us according to our righteousness. Meaning we gotta, make sure we do our righteous works, man. Make sure we righteous within ourselves. Make sure we fight. Make sure Lord Christ. Make sure we fight our demons because that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like David said, the Lord reward us according to our righteousness, man. So that's what we have to do as a whole, so we receive the great reward, which is the kingdom of heaven on earth. Go ahead.
Verse 22. For I have kept the ways of the Lord and have not wickedly departed from my God.
Right. We got to keep the ways of the Lord and not the ways of ourselves. Us growing up, living in America, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. Like all of us grew up celebrating Christmas and all these things and different traditions in America. But we got to keep the ways of the Most High if we want to, something different. If you want the kingdom of heaven, that's what we have to take. You know what I'm saying? The ways of the Lord, not the ways of ourselves. A lot of times, us living in this life, we go by, we want to do things that we want to do. Whatever our heart wants, whatever our mind wants or thinks. But we always, before we decide to, in certain situations or a lot of situations, instead of doing what we want to do, we got to do what the Most High, we got to consider what the Most High wants from us or requires of us.
Right.
It's as far as dealing with a brother, dealing with a sister, dealing with each other, and a lot of different things that we do within our life. What verse you at?
Verse 23.
Go ahead.
Verse 23. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them.
Right.
I was also upright before him, and have kept myself from mine iniquity. Right. Therefore the Lord have recompensed me according to my righteousness.
He said, I kept myself from mine iniquity. You know what I'm saying? We all of us, got vanity and iniquity, but we got to fight our demons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? David said, I kept myself from my iniquity. There have been times where as though, you get what I'm saying, you might want to, kill a brother, fight a brother, or, something, steal, or, get high, do something evil. But you got to fight your iniquity, fight your sin, fight your, yourself from committing those things. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Therefore the Lord hath recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanliness in his eyesight.
All right, so that's work on being clean, not the Christian way.
Right.
Not sinning against the Lord. No more Christmas, no holiday, no American evil holidays. You know what I'm saying? No drugs, no crab, shrimp, pork, and most importantly, the most important thing is treating your brother and your sister as yourself. Right. You know, so that's one of the most important things. Like, even just because you're in the truth, so things gonna pop up. Like you in the school now, and something might happen where as though I might take offense of a brother, and in those situations, you know what I'm saying, you have to, talk to the brother instead of being mad at him, because all you're gonna do is just create a beef.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That if you're gonna do that, what the hell we in the UPK for? You know what I'm saying? Or if you do a brother wrong, you gotta take, or sister wrong, you gotta take the consequences because you did something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What verse you at?
26.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful, and with the upright man thou wilt show thyself upright.
Right. All right, we're gonna wrap it up right there.
Only imagine this means to stand. Sorry.
La Yasha'Allah.
Men of Israel, men of Israel, gird thyself to salute the Torah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barak Yah.
Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabrak, Yah.
Oh, no, hold it.
One more time if I'm correct.
Oh, yeah.
Men of Israel, Maju, sisters as well, which means to stand. Open your heart done, which means turn and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, Malakot Taba'ah, Desire, I.S.U.P.K, Kabak, Bashamayim, Adonai, Lakam, Yawam, Wasalakina, Kabawafina, Kasalakina, Wala'ah, Dabayayina, Wanasaya 1, Abashayina, Ayan, Kaya, Lakuk, Amalakwa, Wahatapara, La Aman. In English,
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not. Into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
We're going to do the Hakak, which is the power. Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
We're going to do bless Israel. Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh, Barak, YAHANNA, Wahabaya, Sapari, Barak, Magun,
Hashem, Yahweh,
What we just said was, Lord, in the name of Yahweh, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh, thank you. So be it.
We're going to do Psalms. We're going to do the book of Psalms, chapter 121. Asha'a,
Asha'a,
Ayanya, Ahahoyim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Izoria, Ma'an, Yahweh, I.S.U.P.K, Shamayim, Wa'arataza, Ayathan, Lamawat, Wagalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hanat, La'ab, Yanawam, Wala'ab, Yayasun, Shabamah, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashamat, La'ab, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayallah, Yahweh, Washamarka, Makarad, Yashamal, After Pascha, Yahweh, Yashamal, Taza'afka, Wabawa'afka, Ma'athab, Wa'ai,
In English, I will lift my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From which comes my help?
From which comes my help?
My help comes from Yahweh.
My help comes from Yahweh,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee
Will not slumber.
will not slumber. Behold,
He that keepeth Israel.
he that keepeth Israel
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
From all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
From this time forth.
from this time forth,
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it.
we'll do Psalms 83. Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Tasakwas,
Al-Tasakwas,
Wa'al,
Wa'al,
Tasakwas,
Tasakwas,
Al,
Al,
Kayahanna,
Yahana,
Awayabika,
Awayabika,
Yahamayawan,
Yahamayawam,
Wamasanayaka,
Wamashanayaka,
Nasa'awa,
Nasha'awa,
Ra'as,
Ra'ash,
Al-Imaka,
Al-Imaka,
Ya'arayamwa, Sawab,
Sawa,
Waya Tayazawa,
Eyes of the wall.
Al-Tazapun, Pawanyaka,
Al-Tazapawanyaka,
Amaru,
Amaru,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wana, Wanakadian,
Wanakabia,
Magaya,
Magaya,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yazaka,
Yazaka,
Sham Yasa'ala,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Iwa,
Iwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawa Aitazawa,
Nawa Aitazawa,
out of one.
Alawam,
What?
It's like lob. You skip one.
La,
La,
Yakadwa,
Yakalwa,
Al Yaka,
Al-Yaka,
Barya,
Baryath.
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahawlia,
Aholia.
Alahawlia,
Aholia.
out of one.
Alawam,
Wayasum Alayam.
Wayashamai Ayahum.
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagorian,
Wahagorian,
Gabal,
The
Gabal,
Wa'aimawan,
Wa'aimawan,
Wamalak,
Wamalak,
Palashah,
Palashah,
Amishabia,
Amishabia,
Tazawal,
Tazawal,
Gam Ashabal,
Gamashawal,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
I said Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Zarawad,
Zarawa,
Labanya Lawat,
Labangalawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
I shall hum.
Kamadian,
Tamadi,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Bayan,
It's like you skip one.
Salagia,
Kasayasaraha.
Kasayasara'a,
Hayasara,
Kayabian,
Kayabi.
Banako,
Banakal.
Kayashwan,
Yashwan,
Nasamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Bayan,
Ba'ayan,
so like Bayan Dawara'a,
Bayandara.
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Zabak,
Zabak,
Wakata Zamana,
Wakata Zamana,
You skip another one. Okay, you gotta keep your finger. So yeah, somewhere.
Shayathama,
So your thumb.
Nadayabua,
Nayagwa,
Ka'arad,
Ka'ara,
Wakazabak,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak.
Wakazabak.
Wakazamana.
Wakazamana.
Kanasa. Kyle Nasa Yak Kamwa.
Council Yakamwa.
Ashur. Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Shaitamwa.
Shaitamwa.
Kagagala. Kwash. Lapanya. Waka. Ka'ash. Taba Salaki. Taba Ira. Wakal Lahaba. Talahat. Hariyam. Khan. Tawad Dakma. Basar Iraka. Wabasawapaka. Tabahalam. Mala'ab. Panyaham. Kuala Wayabakwashwa. Shemka. Yahawah. Yabashwa. Wayabahawa. Ayad. Wayakaparwa. Wayabadwa. Wayadawa. Iowa. Kaya. Atha. Shemka. Yahawah. Labadka. Ayawan. Alka. Harataza. Aman.
In the English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still. O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make it tumble. And they that hate thee. Have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. Against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said. Come. Let us cut them off. From being a nation. In the name of Israel. May be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together. With one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. Gabal. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kishon. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red. And like Zahab. Yea. All their princes. As Zabah. And as Amunah. Who said, let us take to ourselves. The house of Yahweh possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wheel. As a stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth a wood. And as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With thy tempest. Make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Yahweh. Let them be confounded. In trouble forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Or the Most High. Over all the earth. So be it.
We're going to do the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh.
Yahweh Shah.
Wa'alahayim. Matazabaya. Alawak Yahanna. Ha'alawak. Hasaranyim. Hakwatazayanyim. Hakaliyanyim. Wahagwathian. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Wa'alaman.
English, bless you, Yahweh.
And
Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels. The manager Yohanna. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. And the name Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Any, all right. Curse against our enemies. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets. The teachers.
The
princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathens.
To the heathens.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure.
The treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter to that sanctuary.
To enter into that sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And the drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogue and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
The Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads. Posse Comitatus. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies.
Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army. Navy. Air Force.
Marines.
Wall Street. Open up the internet. And the airways. The cable access channel. The radio channel. Convict the spirit. Of any of thy people. That seek to stop us. Bring swift destruction. To all the heathens. To stand in the way. Or try to stop us. For broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief.
And the murderer. Let Yahawashi. Michael and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the heathens. That come up against us. As we broadcasting thy word. As we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. Name Yahawashi. Thank you always.
So be it.
Men of Israel saw. Says we have a seat. Men of Israel, we're going to give one curse salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amadi Shabbat. Amadi. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Yazmatah. Men of Israel saw. Says you can stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one curse salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadi Shabbat. Amadi. Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatah Hashem Yahushua. Yazmatah. Glasses. If there's any brothers and sisters that want to get it, we don't have to.
Any brothers just want to be anointed? All right, let's wrap it up then. I'll cut you guys.